Welcome to Elliots Hill. We're up in the Antrim Plateau to find out a little bit more about wind farms and what they can do to help the energy supply in the UK and to mitigate the poisoning in the atmosphere by greenhouse gases, most notably CO2. Fiona Johnson from Renewable Energy Systems is with me now. How many sites across Northern Ireland do you look after?
We've developed 7 wind farm sites in Northern Ireland and 4 in the Republic of Ireland.
Now, what sort of energy do they put into the national grid?
The sites in Northern Ireland currently contribute about 103 megawatts. Now, at the minute, that relates to about 3.5% of Northern Ireland's total electricity consumption.
And of course, wind farms are a clean, readily available source of renewable energy.
They are, absolutely. It's very important as part of our fight to battle climate change that we do embrace renewable sources of energy like wind, which is non-polluting. Of course, the more electricity we get from these sources means that we're less reliant on fossil fuels, which do produce carbon dioxide, one of the main greenhouse gases. And it's also much better for our local economy as well, because we're less reliant on imported fossil fuels, so that anything that we have here, we have much more control over it, we're much more self-sufficient.
Now, there are a lot of myths surrounding wind farms. Some people say they're unsightly, but to me they're quite attractive when you look at them compared to the likes of electricity transmission pylons.
Yeah, I mean, beauty's in the eye of the beholder, I suppose, as they say. Whether you find a wind turbine or anything attractive or not is very much a personal opinion. I personally would much rather look at a hillside of windmills than I would looking at a power station. We did a recent survey that was carried out of 500 people in Northern Ireland, and 92% of the people surveyed were very favourable about wind energy, and 78% of them said that they would be happy living close to a renewable energy generating station. So I think that whether you like the look of them or not, people are certainly starting to realise that they have a very important contribution to make environmentally and economically as well.
How much is the total investment in a site like this? Is it very costly to get the investment back again?
It's becoming increasingly more competitive. The cost of wind energy is currently competitive with new coal-fired generating plant, and it's actually more competitive than new nuclear. So it is becoming increasingly competitive, particularly as technology is moving on and the turbines are being able to harness even more energy out of the wind.
Now, a site like this, you can get the cost back within 3 to 5 months. So it's actually, the initial investment is recouped very quickly indeed. There's very little noise of these things. I mean, there's a slight noise, but we're quite close to them. I don't even think you could hear it in the microphone. Why are people so against windmills? Because it seems that 10% of people don't really like the things, but they can't really say why they don't like the things.
Yeah, I mean, as I said earlier, an awful lot of people are in favour of them, but you tend to hear about the people that don't like them a lot more than the people that do like them. I think quite often people maybe have worries about them when they haven't perhaps visited them before. There is an incredible amount of interest in wind farms. In fact, when we launched this wind farm back in 1995, we had 2,500 visitors in the first weekend. So people are very, very keen to come and see them. And I think when people do come to see them, as you've just said, they will discover that there isn't really that much noise off them at all. And I think a lot of people are actually quite fascinated when they look at them close up as well.
So Elliots Hill Wind Farm is set to be extended, doubled in size very soon. What's the lead time whenever you come up with the idea of wanting a wind farm on your land? Because landowners do tend to contact you from time to time.
Yes, there is quite a long lead time into getting planning approval for a project like this. It's actually quite a robust and quite a careful planning process that you have to follow, and an environmental assessment that you have to follow as well. For instance, with most of our sites, our planning application is accompanied by about 2 years worth of bird monitoring, for example. And during that period we would consult quite closely with organisations like the RSPB and the Planning Service to make sure that they're happy or if they have any recommendations on how the site should be designed, we can get that into the plans as well.
So with 560 million tonnes of CO2 going into the atmosphere every year, wind farms at present can reduce that by 4.5 million tonnes, and with Northern Ireland and Scotland being two of the windiest places in Europe, the future for wind power in this part of the UK looks strong. I'm Justin McCartney with Fiona Johnston from Renewable Energy Systems at Elliots Hill.